In the year 1914, roughly 21 million of the 92 million people in America were immigrants who had arrived from various countries since the year 1880. Of the U.S. industrial labor force, 60% of the force was born in a foreign country. Many of the immigrants ended up living in rough conditions and crowded and hazardous tenements. There were also very poor and unsafe working conditions with little pay. There were little to no regulations or policies to help these circumstances. Therefore, disease, fires, crime, poverty, etc. was all very common. From 1893 to 1896, there was a depression that caused many to be discontent with the government. Many also realized the wealthy corporate entrepreneurs were not bringing much benefit, while in many areas more than one-fourth of the adult male population was still unemployed. And so the Progressive Era and reform began. Reform received support from all over and regulations began to take place in society. Progressives allowed political voters to place issues on the ballot, and the reformers took action on them. They also worked on bettering conditions in workplaces, housing, on food, and made policy reforms specifically for women and children, also regulating the employment of children. Many health reforms were made to help prevent diseases, as almost 20% of the population of cities died due to disease. Health reforms provided public health centers and regulations on housing and restaurants. Unfortunately, some progressives were prejudiced and believed immigrants were uncivilized, ignorant, and immoral. Progressivism also faced obstacles. The needs of oppressed groups, low-income people, and workers were neither focused on by the Republicans or the Democrats. Cooperation was also made difficult by ethnic groups because of language barriers, ethnic rivalries, and residential segregation. Although America was going through a time of change, there were still many contradictory views of immigrants, and there was still the oppression of immigrants, women, African Americans, Asian Americans, and Spanish-speaking people. Social reforms continued from 1890 until the U.S. entered World War I. During the Progressive Era, the question raised, who was going to staff the agency that helped all the poor and oppressed people? By 1920, the new profession of social work had emerged.
Created using Powtoon.